I think the great thing about the project was publisher, he really kind of put a lot of faith in me, I think, in terms of, okay, let's see where this goes. So instead of having a very rigid idea at the beginning, he did have an idea. But once I started actually the creating process, I think the whole project evolved. He would give me feedback. I think probably the first draft of the book was really, especially the first chapters, were probably not very good at all. But he would give me feedback, and then I would go away. I would read books by Roald Dahl and Charles Dickens, and and to get me in the zone, I think. And then I would start writing. I also benefited from this book that you once recommended to me, Brother Mohammed. It was called The One Thing. And the way I benefited from it was not that I thought that there was only one thing that I would do, like in my life, but that time, if you can have laser sharp focus on one thing, you can get some amazing results. So during that period, I kind of really asked my family and my husband to allow me to spend like a whole day at the library every week. Okay. And I'm talking from morning till night, till closing time. Because what I found was I needed laser sharp focus. Because once you get into the writing process, if you have to come out of it and go back to your ordinary life, your everyday life, it's really hard to get back into that place where you were. So it's better to kind of stay there as long as possible. And that's what really helped me. So having solid days, where from morning till evening, I even used to pray at the library, I had my prayer mat. And one of the libraries even had a prayer room. So alhamdulillah, we've got so many resources now. I literally spent the day there, and I wrote this book. And what I would do is I would just imagine myself as a child and what kind of book I would have loved to read. I was that child. This book is for the child that I was, I think. My dad used to go around looking for, Islamic books for me. And you can imagine in the 80s, there was nothing, right? There was just there literally were only translations. But I remember once my dad bought me a book about Fatima radiallahu anha. And because my name was Fatima, that meant a lot to me. So I would lap up, any book that he gave me. But I remember reading that book and feeling really depressed afterwards as a child, because the way it was, first of all, it was written in a very basic and, dry way, just factual. And also it did not really take care of the reader's emotions, I would say.
Yeah.
And so one of the things I remember when we were doing the Seeds of Change conference, we would always ask, how do we want people to feel, right, at the end of this talk? Or how do we want them to feel at the end of this experience? And I kind of used that for the book as well. I thought to myself, how it's actually more important how the child is left feeling, having read the book, than it is what exactly they read, the little details, right? So for me, it was about showing children that, yes, these great people of the past, they had difficult lives. Okay, it's not that they did not have difficult lives, and it's not that they didn't face difficult things, but their story is not a tragedy. It's not, and sometimes that's the way the stories were kind of portrayed when we were kids. At the end they die, and then it's really sad, and they were poor, and they had, that kind of left you sort of feeling like, oh, basically you didn't feel uplifted. You didn't feel uplifted. And so what I wanted to do is not shy away from the difficult things. Okay. So for example, Khadijah radiallahu anha, she went through a lot, right? for the sake of Islam. She suffered a lot, but at the same time, she had this wonderful romance, right? She had this wonderful marriage. She had the right mindset with which to live life. She also ultimately knew what her goal was, right, which was Jannah, and she knew that ultimately she was striving for true success. So I wanted to convey all of that as well, and I really hope that I've been able to do that.